Well, hello there, friends. So today, what we're going to be talking about is I've gotten some comments from people who say that they're just getting into the upholstery. They've got an interest in it, and they're wanting to learn more. Others are saying that they've been in upholstery. Some that they're tired of being there. They want to do something else, or they're trying to elevate their game, or they're trying to make it more meaningful instead of just maybe where they hit a plateau in their learning. So what I've got to say today is, sometimes one of the things that's really important about learning something like upholstery here is the failure rate of your work. Okay, you're saying, what? What's he talking about? Okay, well, I've been doing this for 45 years. And I'd have to say that if you call it a failure where you make something and maybe it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, or maybe the quality wasn't so great, okay, let's just call that a little failure, okay? Well, personally, over 45 years, can you believe how many thousands of times I would, call something a failure? But you know what? Every single one of those times that you do that little fail, you just learned something, okay? Because you're always your own best teacher. If you worked on something and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, I guarantee you the next time, the second one is going to be better than the first one. Or the third one is even going to be better than the second one that you did, and so on and so forth. And you know what? You're always going to improve. So my bell just rang. Okay, I guess what I'm talking about here is experience. So over time, you begin to learn your own techniques. Okay, so you develop a technique of doing something, and that's always going to improve your quality. So, technique and experience is always going to be something that comes over time, right? So, that's something that you develop over a long period. That's why it's very important that every minute that you spend making something is going to be towards that experience that you're earning. And, it's like you're earning money. Okay, well, what you're doing is you're earning experience and you're developing techniques. So your techniques is something that you figure out, okay, this worked. My God, look at this. It's beautiful. Okay, so you're never, ever, ever going to forget that. So the next time you make something and it's going to be that one, okay, well, let's say you're making multiples of something. Say you're doing 10 cushions that are exactly the same. Okay, you're going to start with the first one. Okay, maybe when it's finished, it's a little baggy or it's too tight or there's too many wrinkles or it wasn't sewn tight enough on the corner or something like that. Okay, so the next one that you do after your inspection of the first one, right? The next one that you do, I'll tell you what, it's going to fit better. The seams are going to be sewn tighter, and you'll compare the two. The second one, okay, second one will always look better than the first one. And that's what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you what, by the time you do that 10th cushion, you know what? It's going to be like the most beautiful one. So you kind of want to hide that first one, right? And for the and not bring attention to it. But then even the first one is still going to look good. But only you, with your eyes and your inspection, would probably see the difference. Nobody else ever would. And in the end. So now is a perfect time to hit that like button. So like. It helps my channel and it shows. Thank you. And for those of you who have been doing this for a very long time, okay, so you kind of feel like a burnout, or you feel like you plateaued in your learning, or you're getting bored and you're not paying attention to it anymore, you're thinking about something else. You know what? When after 27 years of me doing upholstery, that's where I was. I wanted to do something different. So when I'm an aircraft designer, so model aircraft designer. So you can see them in my other videos. But anyway, I wanted to do something different. So what I did is I took my designs with me, and I did model aircraft as a hobby back then, 2006. So I wanted to take it to this like new extreme, right? So what I actually did is I took my aircraft designs with me, and I left for China for 2 years. I was an American worker in a Chinese factory for 2 years, and I was there all by myself. I had no financial backing, so I took like this ultimate risk, right? So I opened up a factory. I made a bunch of airplanes. I was there working 18 hours a day, okay, because it's a third world country. I didn't like it there so much. I wanted to get my work done so that way I can come back here to the U.S. So I did come back here to the U.S. Had a couple of containers worth of product, but I came back to a really bad economy in 2009. So nothing was selling. I was broke. I basically came back broke and homeless because it's another story. Investors that I invested in, they all took my money during that time and left me with nothing. Wouldn't even get me an air ticket back to the U.S. I was stranded in China. So anyway, I made it back with the help of family members. Sorry about this long story, but anyway, I came back. And I was needed to do something. So after my model airplanes were not selling, I thought to myself, well, what was I doing when I was making the most money? Hmm. Well, I think that would be upholstery. So I got back into upholstery. And, it was a little bit of struggle because of the bad economy, but, I built myself back up again. Actually, within like 3 weeks, I had my apartment and I had a bank account. I was all set back up again. Yeah. So anyway, I opened up my businesses and I started doing the upholstery again. Bringing in the work, looking for work, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying here is, if you have failures, okay, you just never give up. Okay, never, ever, ever give up. There's been so many times over these 45 years where I could have easily have given up, because you're not making enough money. Your wife is telling you, your wife, right? Uh-huh. Your wife is telling you, go get a job, go do this and go do that for $10 an hour, right? Okay, so but that doesn't make sense to you because you know that you can make a lot more than $10 an hour, working for somebody else. So when you do work for yourself, as some of you may know, is you're making a lot more money, right? You're making a lot more money because you're not giving half of it away to your employer. Okay, so now you're making all the money, and you're seeing the fruits of your labor. Okay, so now you have your huge rewards. But part of getting there is taking that one step at a time. Okay, one project at a time, one failure at a time. Okay, so what you're doing is you're taking that failure, you're turning it around with your experience and your techniques, and you're making an improved product. Okay, and your customers are going to love you. They're going to love you so much, they're going to start throwing money at you. And it's just amazing the way it works out that way. If you're working on a project and it's not turning out the way you want it to, okay, don't be afraid to spend more time to improve it and try to make it better than what it is. Because the last thing you want is to present something that is subpar quality to your customer, something that your customer might see a flaw and point it out. Okay, then because you know what, that's not doing you any favors at all. Okay, that's not helping your reputation. Okay, that's not going to help your word of mouth from your customer, advertising, and the quality is not going to be there for you, and that is going to be your end product if you present it that way. So one of the most important techniques that I have is technique number 84. Okay, and what that is when you finish something or while you're working at it, just constantly inspect what it is that you're working on. Okay, because you can always go back and fix something. Okay, because you want to find the flaw before your customer finds it. Okay, because that is the chance for you to fix it. And one of the things that I've always said is, you know how good you are when you could fix your own mistakes. Okay, because you don't have anybody out there that's going to fix it for you, right? You can't say, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't fix this. Can you help me? Okay, you don't have that option when you're by yourself. Okay, so what I'm saying is present the customer with excellent, and what I've always said is uncompromising quality. Okay, so that way you hold yourself to a standard. Okay, and with that standard, and if you embed that standard into yourself, your work is just gonna explode in quality. Okay, instead of being at 70%, you're over here at 100% now. Okay, so when you're at 100% quality, your customers are gonna notice. And if you do it cheerfully with a smile, you know, they sometimes I've had customers give me some really nice tips. They're so happy with what they've gotten. They'll give me a tip, and you know I can't turn it down. And it's really nice of them, and I show my gratitude for it. Now you're working on something, and you're halfway through the project, and maybe you're charging by the hour, which I don't really recommend. I usually charge by the job because most customers they don't want to go open ended anyway. You know, they don't they want to know what they're paying. They don't want it, you know, unless if some people there are some people out there they don't really care. They just leave a blank check. But most people they want to know what they're paying for their to have their item redone. So there have been times, and I will say many times, where I've quoted a job for a dollar amount. Okay, and I always keep that dollar amount. Okay, I never tell my customer, "Oh, it's going to cost you $300 or $400 more than what you thought it was going to cost in the end." Okay, so being that I keep my promise, say something is $300. Okay, I'm working on it, and it's not coming out quite how I want it to be. I'll spend that extra time to try to either fix it. I never really had to remake something from scratch again. I never had to trash what I was working on and start all over again. Usually I've just been able to, you know, fix this little something here or there. But, you know, we always improve it, right? But there have been times where I have spent on larger projects where I've spent many more hours than I thought it was going to take to get the job done. And in some really big projects, maybe it's even days. But if I'm working, you know, 3 or 4 extra days on a big, huge project, more than I thought I was going to, but I had that dollar amount set for my customer. But, you know, that happens sometimes. But, you know, if you let them know that it took a lot longer than you thought it was going to take, and they know that you spent a lot of extra more time on it and they didn't have to pay for it, they're really going to appreciate that. And you can see it when they come and pick up their item. They're happy with it. It looks great. It's exactly what they want. There's no flaws, and they know that you took the time to do it right. You know, and sometimes there's a tip. You know, there's extra money there for you. You know, even if it's $5 for a burger or $20, and I've had some lot larger tips. Okay, I'm not going to say because the IRS, right? So fix your mistakes, improve your quality, keep your promises, and keep customers happy with a big smile on your face. And you know, I'll tell you what, things just get better and better and better. So until next time, we'll see ya.